So, as part of my general hustle, I am most excited about what I have to do to continue to create content. And it requires that number one, I continue to do my day job well, but I also gather up content and support from other sources. For a minute there, I tried Fiverr. That was exciting, but I'm limited by my day job. However, there's certain ways that you can actually publish links, Instagram, Facebook, on your blog, that will allow you to fund your passion project. Writer's Block Coffee is one of those things. Not only will it allow me to benefit from my own purchases, I'm actually my best customer, but it also supports what my intent is for this coffee. Writer's Block Coffee has actually been trademarked, and its mission in the industry is to supply writers with those working inside the publishing industry with finest coffee, provide revenue opportunities like me to publishers and other businesses through coffee products. And it's supporting book marketing efforts with custom label coffee, which I am drinking as we speak. Writer's Block Coffee bridges a gap between the coffee and publishing industry. Coffee shops are great for hosting writing and reading activities, but their services stops at the door. That's where Writer's Block Coffee starts. By offering coffee for every stage of a book's life, from the writing to the marketing, Writer's Block Coffee reimagines the role of coffee as a partner and not an accessory. This experience informs every step of Writer's Block Coffee takes, from the taste of the coffee to the shape of the partnerships. And I am a proud publisher of the links for you to enjoy this coffee too. So navigate to writersblockcoffee.com/TNFro is reading to find out about this, as well as the swag, and also enter the TNFro is reading promo code in to get 10% off of your order and shipping. And tell them that Felicia sent you. Welcome to another episode of TNFro is reading. Hi, I'm your host, Felicia Baxter. In this episode, I will be reading and practicing seated yoga. I will be talking about the COVID shenanigans and reading from the Chesapeake, and I just realized I misspelled that. I'm going to have to edit that. The Chesapeake Requiem. I'm also going to be giving work from home tips from my homegirl, Erica Goldberg, and we'll just discuss just general things I am reading. And I hope you enjoy this episode as much as I have enjoyed creating it. Welcome to my midday yoga practice. I decided or added this routine during my live, prior to my live publication yesterday or the previous episode. But I decided that, number one, in order for me to effectively do this, I can't be trying to record at the same time as I'm actually trying to do the bends in the practice, because that's not just feasible and it's kind of crazy. But what I can do is record the breathing in the episode while from a different device, put it to the music that I was able to find on Spotify, and lead the practice. So we're going to start seated. Literally, this is a great stretch that you can actually do from the comfort of your home. We're going to start seated and we're just going to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. We're going to start this part of the practice by sun salutations. This is taking both of your hands, stretching it above your head, breathing in, breathing out, coming back to Namaste. Inhale, and you're going to exhale and slightly bend to your left with your head facing to the right. Inhaling and exhaling. Coming up, centered sun salutation. Inhale, and then you're going to exhale, stretching to your right with your head facing to the left. Exhaling. Coming upright, sun salutation. Stretching all the way up, inhaling. Exhaling and stretching to your left with your head facing to the right. Stretching, sitting up straight. Stretching to your right with your head turning to the left. Exhaling. You're going to inhale, sun salutation, hands stretched above your head, and come to center Namaste. And this next one, if you have limited mobility at your waist or your back pain, do not attempt this. Only come as far as your back will allow it. You're going to take a deep breath in. Again, stretching your hands above your head. And then you're going to bend forward as far as ability, as far as you can. Exhaling. Inhale, sit up straight. Exhale. Going down. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, sitting up straight. Exhale, down. Inhale. Exhale, bending. Inhale. Exhale. Now we're going to sit up straight. Inhaling, sun salutation, coming back to namaste. Exhale. Now we're going to perform the Ardha Madanasana, which is the half spinal twist. With this, you're going to put your right hand on your left thigh, twisting to the left, inhaling, and exhaling, deepening the twist. Going to then turn to your center, inhaling, exhaling. Left hand on right thigh, and turning to the right, deepening a twist. Deep breath in, twisting to the left, exhaling, inhaling, turning to your right, left hand on right thigh, exhaling. Inhaling, coming back towards center to namaste. And in this, if you have the room, you're going to need to probably move your chair back for the seated butterfly poses, the Baddha Konasana. And I actually like this because it gives me a chance to not only stand up, but also to stretch out my legs. So in this, you're going to put both of your feet together and try and attempt to allow your knees to drop as close to the ground as they possibly can. Inhaling and then exhaling. You're going to twist to the left, right hand on left thigh, pressing lightly, inhaling, exhaling, deepening the twist. Inhale, exhale, deepening the twist, inhaling, exhaling, deepening the twist. And then turning to your right, left hand on your right thigh, inhaling, exhaling, deepening the twist, inhaling, exhaling, deepening the twist, inhaling, exhaling, deepening the twist. And then you're going to come back to center, the Baddha Konasana, centered, taking it your inhale, exhaling, raising your hand, simply exhaling, and then raising your hands above your head and sun salutation, inhaling and exhaling back to namaste. And I hope you enjoyed this brief practice, and it will allow you to be centered in the middle of the day. So, welcome back to this part of the podcast. One of the things that we have learned insider trading. One of the things that we've learned is that there is a North Carolina senator This was reported across the news wave, um, that decided to use their insider information to unload millions of dollars worth of stock. Richard Burr, the Republican from North Carolina, is the top of that, where he sold as much as $1.7 million in stocks before the markets tumbled in February amid the corona outbreaks. And it's not just him. There is another multimillionaire politician. I think this heifer is from Georgia. What's her name? And she actually got kind of stank with it. Kelly Loeffler, another Republican from Georgia. And then there's somebody else.
Okay, Jay, you're up.
Ooh, but this is the California Democratic Senator Dianne Feinstein, who sold just as many mid-February. And they're not allowed by law to profit by any type of insider information. But at least they weren't downplaying the severity of, wasn't downplaying the severity of the virus. Not like it didn't seem like she was trying to buy time so she could unload certain stocks and let her constituents do the same. Unlike Loeffler and Richard Burr, that may have been lying to our faces and trying to downplay like their jackass Republican representative POTUS. But it just seems very shady. And if they actually could be prosecuted if there is any evidence that they actually sold and then went about trying to deflect to give themselves time to get their monetary ducks in order while the rest of everybody else was panicking. I think that's actually crazy. And if there is evidence and they can be prosecuted, more power to them. And if you actually have the opportunity to demand or suggest that they need to resign, actually, there's a number that you can actually call the office, leave a message, and sign basically an electronic what is it called? Where you sign up for in protest. I can't think of the word. Signatures on petition. An electronic petition and ask for his resignation. But of course, he's going to say that he's done nothing wrong, even in the face of overwhelming evidence. He probably said, I did nothing wrong, and I have no control over my financial advisors and what they do with my money. I think that's bogus. You should know what. I'm sure you basically try to see, you saw what was coming and you advised them. Who wouldn't do that as a responsible person managing millions? You're going to know what, in the worst case scenario, what you're going to have to do to protect yourself while you're spreading lies and rhetoric. Nobody's going to buy that. But you have to have proof of the intent, I bet, to prosecute this jackass. But that's neither here nor there. And that's just me conjecturing But Loeffler and Burr, what you did looks real shady. And I'm hopeful that your constituents are going to remember that. You basically sold those stocks to protect yourself, and shame on you. And I hope you get voted off the island just like your homeboy should be. But on a lighter note, a really good friend of mine, Erica Goldberg, posted this in Facebook yesterday, and it was completely hysterical and basically sums up my feelings about working from home and what she does. I don't look out my window that much, and I don't really care about my neighbors. I just want them to stay the heck off my lawn and away from my mailbox, etc. So this is Erica Goldberg from Tampa's take on working from home and how she spends her time. Being off the road and working from home since January 2018 has sufficiently prepared me for the quarantine. Welcome, newbies, to working remotely, or as I call it, my regular workday. Establish a routine and be as structured as you can right off the bat. Take your breaks and walk away from your computer. Don't eat lunch at your desk. I made sure I did. I do that every single day. I just started blocking out a specific period of time where I'm not at my computer. Don't schedule anything during that period of time. And eating away, even at the table, is becoming something that I'm going to start doing. Is actually much, much needed. Don't turn on the TV already too late, because I watch movies and stuff during my off time. Keep the music low. Remember you are at work. Shut down your work at the same time you do every day. Turn off the computer and return to it tomorrow. Otherwise, you will be working well into the night on just one more thing. You will now know more about what happens in your neighborhood during the day than you want to. You will get fixated on things. This could be just me being fixated, though. Like the garbage truck came straight 6 a.m. So why every Tuesday between 1 and 2 p.m. do you come back for just one person's garbage? And why can't they put their garbage out in time? Can the stray cats hear me yelling at them to be careful crossing the street and also telling them that I love them with the windows closed? Girl, you crazy. Why is the lady across the street talking to the solicitor that rang her doorbell and has the door wide open? Could be a nut job. However, I have snap pictures with my phone of said nut job just in case. Why is the UPS guy at the other neighbor's house for so long? Postman always wins twice scenario. Nope, found out it's her husband who works for UPS. Why did that lady not pick up the poop that her dog decided to place in my yard? Oh yes, I threw open the window and said something, and by something I mean it was not nice. We have written rules in my hood. So to sum up, enjoy your new work experience. She is hysterical, and you can actually follow her on Facebook as well as on Instagram. She actually posts amazing pictures of her cooking from home, and I think she has found a creative outlet for her own particular taste and how to fill up her time, as we all work from home, and this is just our usual day. So big ups to my girl Erica. This was actually very much needed. With every cancellation, every postponement, now is the time to start reading. And it was never like there was never a time to read. Books are king. That's how we're going to increase your knowledge. And if you love to save on books, movies, and music, you've actually come to the right place. Navigate to alibris.com, a premier online marketplace for independent sellers of new and used books, music, and movies, as well as rare and collectible titles. We connect people who love books, music, and movies to more than 175 million items from thousands of sellers worldwide. This is a partnership with independent professional sellers, and Marty and Dick, the founders, decided early on that Alibris would be an at-risk partner, not a listing service. This approach attracted a large number of independent sellers and now enables Alibris to offer over 100 million books for sale. This is more than Barnes & Nobles and maybe even Amazon together. Right now they have a $20 off sale, and you can use coupon code NORA, NORA, to take $10 off of an order of $75 or more. You can use Roberts, take $20 off of about $135 or more. And then you can use Storm, STORM. I will have all of these coupon codes as a reminder in today's podcast. So again, navigate to Alibris.com for all of these deals and more, and tell them that Felicia sent you. Now back to the podcast. Welcome to this part of the podcast where I'll be talking about reading more books and what to do in this time of coronavirus. I saw a posting on social media yesterday that the New York Public Library has over 300,000 books, electronic titles ready to go and to be checked out. So, of course, I navigated over to my public library site, and the Chattanooga Public Library has 6,851 titles available on the Overdrive and Libby systems now, and also available through Kindle. And also, just so you know, they've actually all live and in-house services have been suspended for the next several weeks for the entire Hamilton County Public Library system. But electronic books are available, although they're not as massive availability as the New York Public Library is. And also, just for those of us like myself that loves actual books, the actual look and smell and feel of books, you're not going to be able to get them as rapidly one day delivery through Amazon because of the simple fact that they've shifted shipping of medical supplies and essential household items. So I do have access to the Alibris website, but with all the shipping being rerouted specifically for essential items, you may not be able to get those items in any specific or earlier. So I'm going to suggest to you is, and with social distancing, I would not risk going to the local Barnes and Noble. So this has actually completely reset my whole routine. I like Sundays being able to go to the Barnes and Nobles and pick up my Sunday New York Times, but I actually subscribe to the electronic version, and I'm actually going electronic at this time. I don't think they actually ship or deliver to my area, unfortunately, but that's actually okay. So if I, the paper guru, can still switch to electronic versions and read, and that means less clutter and less things I actually have to put in the recycling bin, I'm actually okay with that. And I've actually have made a list of some titles that I'm probably going to be checking out soon and reading soon in upcoming episodes. I love the author Sophie Kinsella, and getting and downloading her My Not So Perfect Life is actually on my to-read list. American Dirt, I actually bought a while ago when it first dropped, and with all the controversy, it's actually in my Kindle app, and I'm going to be reading that. And also, I'm going to be reading Eleanor, Oliphant is Just Fine by Gail Honeyman, because she seems to have written to a certain extent about someone with social anxiety, socially segregating themselves. So it seems that it will make sense for to be able to read that book. And I'm probably going to put that to the top of my list because I think it's apropos, and a lot of people in this time of working from home and social distancing could probably relate to the Eleanor Oliphant character in this book. So, but what I am reading is on page 64 of Chesapeake Requiem, and I'm struck by several things. I'm struck by references to other works of literature in the book and how this particular author wove a real look at marine biology and geology into a story that is actually relatable and actually is enjoyable. I'm taking my time reading it because I'm reading it in between breaks and recording between breaks. So there you go. So I read from you starting at page 64 in Chesapeake Requiem. And he's talking about the melting of the ice glaciers and this ongoing debate about how the island truly is sinking, as well as in the raising or the rise of the ocean. Sea levels are contributing to the true loss of land of the Tangier Island proper. And he does it in such a masterful way. It's like I am in a college, well, not really, high school level biology class or science class, but it's actually kind of fun to read. And I think that has a lot to do with the fact that I am just a big old science nerd, and I don't mind reading this technology speak without it being boring. And I find interest in anything that actually increases my base of knowledge. Also, if you listen closely to the background, you'll hear probably running water, because as I record and move around my abode, I'm actually taking care of the mundane things of life, like rinsing out my coffee maker pot, washing dishes. I just had a delivery of my where's the hand? I just had a delivery see that type of freaking ham. Oh, I just realized that I ordered slices of ham instead of the actual whole ham. Dang it. I'm trying my hardest not to actually have to go into the grocery store. And this is like the first time that I've actually had, it's good, food delivered from the local Publix. But anyways, these strawberries could have been a little bit bigger, but I'll take them. I'm actually going to be cutting those up after these, I rinse them, and I'll be covering them with, to preserve them in sugar, as well as the rest of my green beans and carrots and zucchini. I only sent one zucchini. It was supposed to have been a package of zucchini. That sucks. So I'll probably be roasting this one little raggedy zucchini, but tonight, to eat tonight. go. Finally got my olive juice and my black olives and my 2 packages of Folgers Pioneer medium roast because I'm running low on coffee and I don't get my re-up until another week or so. So from Writer's Block Coffee. But it does look like they were able to deliver all of my requested items, and I'm actually very thankful for that. And what am I actually going to have for lunch now that we think about that? I have another shipment that's actually getting ready to come today from Omaha Steakhouse. So I'm probably going, actually, I know actually exactly what I'm having. I'm having soft shell crabs with roasted zucchini, since I only have one little ragged zucchini, and I'm going to freeze my string beans and carrots for later usage with the other supplies that I'm going to be getting from Omaha Steakhouse. So, therefore, that is how I'm spending my evening or my next break. Let's go. Well, I'm creating my live podcast show. The next break will then be food prep to put up in my deep freezer. But in the meantime, I'm going to get back as I multitask and back up my live show because it's supposed to go live at 12 o'clock. But of course, I'm not in any way, shape, or form ready for that. So here we go. And as I was speaking about, Chesapeake Requiem weaves the technicalities of marine science into a well-written story about the history of this island. And he does it in a masterful way that is actually very enjoyable. So I'm starting reading at page 64. And as also I was saying that he had just been going over or having a discussion or talking to us about the history of the rising and lowering of the sea levels, as well as how in the last ice age with the creation of the Chesapeake Bay. So here we go. It is well established that these ice sheets pulverize. Oops. So I've actually reset it to 1:30, and I'll be actually publishing and finish the edit on this episode live at about 1:30 instead of 12 o'clock. So it's well established that these ice sheets pulverize and gouge the land in their path, shaping it into new lakes, plains, and valleys. But they also left their mark on land they never touched. The lowering tide was so heavy that the Earth's crust sagged beneath it, and in doing so compressed the mantle, which underlays the crust and forms the bulk of the planet's mass. Part of the mantle is viscoelastic, which I thought was actually pretty cool. Meaning it's goopy, and when squeezed, it acts as a gel is prone to do, flowing away from the point of compression, kind of like toothpaste. That's me adding, by the way. The pressure from the ice sheet propelled this plastic part of the mantle southward, and wherever it went, the crust above had to make room. The ground there bulged, and this uplift was especially pronounced in what is now America's mid-Atlantic area, a region for which I am right now. At the same time the ground was lifting, the oceans fell, with so much water locked up in the glacier seas around. The world dropped to roughly 400 feet lower than they are today. The East Coast, as we know it, was well inland. The ancient shoreline followed the edge of the continental shelf, which lies 40 to 70 miles east of today's mid-Atlantic beaches and barrier islands. So most of what we know as the Chesapeake Bay was dry land, a valley, down the middle of which ran the lower Susquehanna River. Tangier wasn't an island, neither were its modern neighbors to the south, Maryland Smith, South Marsh, and Bloodsworth Islands, and what little remains of Holland. All were part of a continuous ridge, ridge that stretched south from the eastern shore and formed the eastern flank of the Susquehanna Valley, which is definitely more inland. The future Tangier lay at or near the ridge's southern tip. The possibility exists, therefore, that the arrowheads that Sugar Tom held in his hands, as well as some found by Carol Moore and her feather progress, were fashioned by Indians who didn't paddle across the bay to hunt on what's now Tangier Island. They might well have been on foot. And that means that places them there almost 20,000 years before the white settlers actually were there and started overfishing and overcrabbing the area. And that's just my little 10 cents addition to that. What then happened was, and I'm skipping over a couple of paragraphs, the changes wrought by the melting glaciers didn't end there. This is after the end of the Ice Age. For with great weight of the ice lifted from the crust in the far north, the ground there began to rebound, and it displaced mantle to ooze back home. At the same time, the bulging ground in the south began to slump and settle, because it's like a seesaw effect. At the same time, the bulging ground to the south began to slump as the crust beneath the bay settled. The Chesapeake inundated the lowest lying portions of the two peninsulas and then chipped away at the surviving uplands until they became chains of distinct islands. That process, which scientists term glacial isotactic adjustment, is still underway. The mantle continues its seepage, seeking equilibrium beneath the crust, and the mid-Atlantic's ice age bowls, subsiding for thousands of years, is expected to continue to go on for thousands of years or more. And although Sugar Tom, one of Tangier Island natives, may have gotten it kind of wrong, and couldn't have measured accurately, his suspicions are actually well founded in the science of today. And he ends this section by, he may have mangled the island's human history, but he detected and more or less described an ongoing and relentless process that would, a century later, threaten Tangier's end. Ooh, I'm sorry. I actually had it rolling as I was updating and sharing my live stream episode, but that's basically the end of this particular segment of the podcast. This podcast is my path of entertainment and a form of therapy and an outlet for creative freedom. But if you don't have this outlet and you're struggling with depression, anxiety, or addiction, call 1-800-273-8255. It's available 24 hours a day, every day. And there's also an on-site chat feature at suicidepreventionlifeline.org/chat/. If vodka is your problem, call 1-800-662-HELP. That's 1-800-662-4357. Then there's also apps like TalkSpace and Doctor on Demand that will actually be able to help you right where you are in the privacy of your car at a fraction of the cost of conventional therapy. It's okay not to be okay, and it's definitely okay to ask for help. Please navigate to www.Dale's Angels Inc. for all special offers and updates on nerd news, as well as you can drop me a line at TennesseeFroisReading@gmail.com, or even leave me a 2-minute non-trolling message at 423-463-0658. All non-trolling messages may actually be read or played during the podcast. If you like what you're hearing and you want to support continued great content, please become a patron at podbean.com/The Talking Fro, or put 5 on it and leave me a tip at paypal.me/Felicia DAI. And I hope you have enjoyed this podcast as much as I have enjoyed creating